Well, it's an anniversary of sorts, so I thought I'd make a video going over my experience with something that I know a lot of people struggle with. So, many of you might not know this, but in my teens and my early 20s, I used to be very, very addicted to benzodiazepines. I recently hit 7 years of being sober from benzos, so I figured I'd share my experience with that as a little bonus video for any of you who might need to hear it. I want to make a disclaimer here. This is in no way medical advice. It's not. It is not medical advice. Do not attempt to taper off benzos on your own without consulting a medical professional, who will probably screw it up for you and rush you through it too fast and not effectively re-regulate your GABA receptors, leaving you still kind of addicted once you're done, because most doctors giving out benzo scripts are a million years old and don't really think they're particularly addictive. But that's orthogonal to the point. This is not an instructional video. This is a biographical reflection on the step-by-step process of tapering off benzos. Okay, with that out of the way, ordinarily people have a bunch of bullshit about how/why they realized they had to quit, which I will skip. Anyone who has been addicted to benzos knows why you need to quit benzos. It became pretty glaringly obvious around the time people started coming up to me whining about, like, oh, you wandered into the CVS and started just chugging bottles of Robitussin, and when the manager came over and told you to stop, you started opening more bottles and pouring them on the ground, and then he whooped your ass. Or, you were rapping along to a DMX song on your phone and got into a fight with a crackhead and then won the fight, but then started smoking his crack, and then while you were doing that, he got up and whooped your ass. So we'll skip to how much I was taking. So my benzo use was relatively short-lived, all things considered, occurring from roughly 2015 to 2018 when I stopped. However, it was a lot. Candle that burns half as long burns twice as bright, or whatever the saying is. Like, a lot. Now, what I was taking was kind of anything and everything, but primarily, in order of how much of each I did, big to little, I would say alprazolam, aka Xanax, number one, followed by flubromazolam, a research chemical that is the fucking devil due to its sub-milligram dose potency and its exceptionally long 72-hour half-life. Etisulam, a research thienopenazepine that is, for all intents and purposes, a benzo. Lorazepam, aka Ativan, clonazepam, aka Klonopin, diazepam, aka Valium, and then nifoxapam, another research benzo. Now, this variety was due to needing to take anything and everything I could get my hands on because of the amount I was using. At my peak, which would have been basically the entire year of 2016, I was consistently taking about, adjusted for equivalent dosage, 20 milligrams of alprazolam a day. 20. Like 20. 10 bars. So, how did I get off? It was a combination of three things. Number one, I got a bunch of bulk-pressed diclazepam pills. This was in the olden days when this was still quasi-legal. I would imagine it isn't anymore, but you used to be able to just go buy research chemicals pressed as pre-dosed pills on the regular internet with a credit card, and they'd mail it to you. Astonishing, right? Anyways, I picked diclazepam due to a couple of reasons. Number one, it's low potency. Number two, it has low efficacy for anxiety, but high anticonvulsant effect. And then number three, it has a long half-life. I didn't want something that fixed the underlying problem that made me get into benzos in the first place, so low anxiety suppression was helpful for getting me to stop taking them. The anticonvulsant effect prevented me from seizing out, like I did several times unexpectedly while actively using benzodiazepines, and having them wear off unexpectedly. The long half-life meant that I didn't have to take them more than once a day, and that I had longer until I needed to be back at the house to take the next day's dose. I tapered over the course of about 9 months. I structured the taper so that month 1 was going from 20 pills a day to 10, month 2 was 10 to 7, month 3 was 7 to 5, month 4 was 5 to 2 pills a day, and then months 5, 6, 7, and 8 were 2 to 0. Now, my logic was that to come off it correctly, there needed to be an extended, sporadic, random low-dose period to kind of undo the onset, like, basically come off of it the way that you got onto it. Now, with most tapers, you get down to a consistent, like, half a milligram a day or whatever, and then you just drop off completely. But your brain still thinks you're supposed to be taking half a milligram a day. So by randomizing the dose schedule at the long end of the taper to add noise, milligram, half milligram, milligram, half milligram, no, nothing one day, half milligram, 1 mil, it allows you to kind of average out the taper to 0 smoothly. through the use of adding noise, instead of just having a shelf drop off, admittedly a low one. The second big thing I did was that I bought a drum kit. Now, this is something that I cannot necessarily recommend to everyone because it probably would have killed me if I was out of shape. But the way that I dealt with the withdrawals and anxiety and discomfort was that any time I was feeling discomfort from the withdrawals, I went and played drums till I was physically exhausted. I was playing drums like 8 hours a day at points, playing till I had cracked cymbals everywhere, enough broken drumsticks to keep a house warm in the winter, and playing till my hands were bleeding, whatever. This was also in the peak of summer, outdoors in a metal shed. Really kind of like a sweat lodge type experience. I drank a whole lot of Gatorade. On the upside, it made me really good at drums when I kind of came out the other end. And then 3, this is just as critical. Obviously the most important one is the taper, because if you don't do that, you are going to die. But I think number 3 is probably, if anything, more important than the drums. The Wim Hof method. The Dutch Iceman, the guy who is like, I can swim in the waters of the Arctic by breathing, or whatever, cold showers. The way you prepare is temporary, rapid, deep breathing to hyperoxygenate the blood, while meditating on a ball of fire, or something similar, to put your body into thermogenesis. I pictured the Red Hot Nickel Ball, star of the YouTube channel Red Hot Nickel Ball. This massively helped to sort of desensitize a hypersensitive nervous system, because what it does is that it overwhelms your body's signals going, oh yeah, I'm gonna make you feel super fucking uncomfortable because you want benzos, with, wrong, bitch, ice water shower in winter, no heat in the house either, that's not uncomfortable, this is uncomfortable. Best start getting that blood pumping if you want to live. So it sounds like that sucks, right? Yeah, it sucks dick. It fucking sucks. It blows. But guess what? It's mandatory. If I didn't do it, I would still be addicted to benzos. But guess what? Now I am no longer addicted to benzos and get to take warm showers again. So if this helps even a single person get off benzos, it will have been worth making this video. Good luck and Godspeed.